Whenever I see Altaf's work, I think all the normal things which you will see which you will think when you see it, which is, wow, that's beautiful, that's powerful, that's stylistic and technical. But really what lingers for me is the feeling that this is a photographer who knows how to make work purposeful. And I would like to give you an example. Altaf has won dozens of awards at the highest level of photography. One such award is a World Press Photo Award for a series that he shot called A School for the Less Fortunate. He used this exposure from the award to secure donations for the school and then provided shoes, mats, stationery, etc. For the children. He then did a follow-up shoot to show the donors how their money was spent and how things had changed for the children who were attending that school. I think it's the hope of all photographers for their images to facilitate change, and it's certainly encouraging to photographers to see it when it actually happens. I'm going to stop babbling now because I believe that the work that Altaf is showing today has never been shown before publicly, so I'm excited to see it. So without further ado, please, it's my pleasure and privilege to ask Altaf to come.
Thank you so much for coming. I'm not going to show a lot of work here because I know the time constraints, and I would like to actually show something which a normal photojournalist goes through during assignments. For example, if you are in conflict zone, or if you're doing some war photography or something like that, intense situations, how, what goes behind the scenes, in those situations. I'll start with some stills which are selected randomly. I mean, there is no sequence, and it just stills, and then followed by the video, and I'll talk about it in a little while. I would like to say the photojournalism, how it started. I mean, actually I wasn't I studied computers at the destiny was something else, and how it happens is kind of a few incidents which I have faced while growing up in Kashmir, and which prompted me actually to think, and how can I show people what's going on on ground. Here are some still images which I'm showing randomly and followed.
Enlarge the screen.
Yeah. Thank you. And actually, my how I became a photojournalist is itself an interesting story, which I don't think I will have enough time to say in detail. So I will stick to initial introduction of these pictures. I mean, most probably you guys might have seen some pictures online, or anywhere it might have been shown. So my basic reason for talking here is to show about the physical and the emotional trauma a photojournalist goes through on assignments. I get emails from youngsters who want to be war photographers without even knowing what war is actually, what happens during war and what happens during conflicts. People get killed, innocents are killed. I mean, people who are around there can be killed. So it's like some people, live in this, fantasy land that, wow, journalists have this, adventurous lifestyle. They go around, in military fatigue. They shoot and they, you know, every sort of adventurous stuff they do and, shoot. So, youngsters get very much influenced by that lifestyle, which is not, always true. So here, I just want to show them how, how I survived. I mean, it was actually a narrow narrow escape for me while I was covering, Libya conflict recently in 2011. I'm sure there might be questions. I will not speak for long. I'll keep speaking maybe, after the video is over.
And there will be a problem to get some place to sleep in the castle?
Yes.
We're driving from the Libyan border towards Tabaruk, right?
Yes.
And Mr. Saleh is driving us. We have two friends from Spain.
Yes. Different nation in this car.
Yeah.
Told her, why you are sleeping here? I told her, you have 25. When he is leader for Germany,
He was
army and
an amazing strategist, no?
Okay, we're heading towards Benghazi.
Benghazi.
It's 5:30 in the morning.
take the picture for them.
شكرا
شاي؟
شكرا شكرا
جبروته جبروته الوقت هذا انت اصطفوانا يا الوقت عليك انا قلت لا تنقل عصيه قدام وصف كلها يا كبوكي الغريب كيف الحسن تراب بالتوم
Good morning.
Good morning.
Have you again?
الحمد لله تمام.
Sibu Said y una zona
صباح الخير. أي خدمة.
It's a nice view of sea, actually.
Yeah.
Wow,
And dogs. You see, dogs.
It's like to be in a disco in the 80s.
Huh?
This car is like to be in a disco in the 80s.
Yes, we are very happy to get Mr. Altaf. He is our driver in Libya. I am from India, from Kashmir. I came here to buy something like tanker, like bombs. I want to export it to India. I want to change all the system. Fuck to the world. This is from me. Take this. Yeah, this is the... No, the other road. The other one. Okay, stop. Go back slowly. Or you...
Maybe you can turn.
Yes. But be careful. You go.
Make it,
Hello.
Are you guys enjoying this drive?
Yes. This will be big memory.
Yeah, I'm glad.
This is from Romania. Roman.
From the Roman period.
Yes.
Ah, interesting. Mr. Saleh again took
Se puede explotar.
his car in his control now. He's driving and smoking at the same time
I'm thinking
and thinking.
what will happen for our future. And I hope it will be very good for my family, for my children. I want to live in best life, to save, to not thinking about the future for them. About me, I am old man. I don't need anything, just need old women. That's it.
Hillary, más en ese sentido, él se queja con el tema de que la meritocracia, no sé qué, como hecho. O sea, él en un viaje ha hecho, o sea, le dio la fama que a otros en 15 años.
This is your captain speaking. I am tax for to deliver landing degrees outside. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. TV News, Al Jazeera.
Okay.
So welcome to Benghazi. We're finally arrived
Yeah, this is
on the outskirts of Benghazi.
Yeah.
Satellite phone. This is used to connect to the internet. We are at Benghazi airport and we just have received a Jordan and military aircraft with supplies and filing from the tarmac itself. السلام عليكم.
تفضل يا خالد. الموبايل من غلط الموبايل. تفضل هات لي يا عطيه. تفضل يا صاحبي.
No.
هذه تخدم حقيتها.
Gaddafi.
Gaddafi.
Oh, good Gaddafi.
يسمعون إلى الملأ الأعلى ويقذفون من كل جانب دحورا.
Okay?
Yeah, this is Mr. What's your name?
Nasser. You?
We're heading back from
We are heading back from Ajdabia to
Benghazi.
Benghazi,
It
yes.
has been a not that bad day as compared to yesterday. Yesterday was horrible. We almost
No,
escaped, and it was hard for you today, right?
yeah, well, yesterday was horrible, today was less horrible.
It's horrible.
Tomorrow we hope that is more or less
No, so.
something like horrible. You know?
Okay, look at this.
And like we are looking forward into horrible days in the future. You know, as in Libya. You know? How was your day?
It wasn't bad. It was okay. But as compared to yesterday, it was peaceful for me. Yesterday was
nice day, we can say.
It was a nice day. That's why your driver fled the site
He
today and went
ditched me.
back to Benghazi.
My driver ditched me. God,
Why did he escape?
I don't know. He wasn't comfortable with me.
No, he wasn't comfortable with the front line.
We have reached back to Benghazi, and we're going to have Egyptian dinner.
Libyan.
Okay, Libyan
dinner.
Libyan dinner. Okay, this is Shama, right? Yeah, that's true. This is the new day, and we're heading again back to Astabia. We might cross today to Brega. If we are meet my friend Anton and Muhammad. Libya.
يا بلادي يا بلادي بجهادي وجلادي ادفعي كيد الأعادي والعادي واسلمي اسلمي 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 طول المدى إننا نحن الفداء ليبيا ليبيا ليبيا.
Front line has moved.
Brega.
Yeah. We're right on the border of Brega.
خلاص.
Oh, that's cool.
بريغا يمين.
Yeah.
قدام راس نانوف.
Rasnalov and this is Brega.
اوكي هيك بريغا خلاص.
This is Brega, this is Rasnalov.
بريغا استوى صاعقه جو قاعدين. الله اكبر.
Allahu Akbar.
الله اكبر. الله استنى. السلام عليكم. فيش هادي خلوه يخش بريغا.
The vehicles of Gaddafi forces have been blown to bits by coalition airstrikes this morning.
شيء ما تخافش ما فيش.
Come on, Antonio. Okay, yalla.
وين الفرنت؟ يا رب ما رمينا فإن الله رمى.
Oh. Exactly, it's
I had it in my wrist for years, and I was like, you know, arthritis, I'm dying here.
مش ولا شيء وصل خلاص. مقرون اكيد سامح ولا ما فيش.
Here we are, 180. This is what is called desperation.
has gone down. And I'm waiting for the sun to go down. And I might walk back in the darkness. Let's hope Shabab sun take over. I can spend night there. It's 7:30. Out of the Finally, I find a place to sleep.
Just enter. Just enter in the end.
But it was right, you know.
In the right front, yeah. There is shooting. There is.
Finally, I'm a free man.
Nice, you're free.
Thank you. It has been a very
Terrible days, yeah.
terrible days and terrible hours and terrible minutes and even seconds. I'm driving back to Benghazi.
خش عليه وضع الهاتف.
امرأة طالعين مازال مش
مش على الصوت صوتيات
هادي صامت سمعت منفصل. والله البريك راهو ما فيهاش الا 4 سيارات في السيمافرو يا اما في السحاب.
صور فيك
عندي عقيله فعليا ما في شيء، ما عندنا قوات. والله اللي عندك كلها صب على جنابها. لكن الجماعه والله دقوا امس في جدابيا، صفق في شارع الثلاث، في شارع اسطنبول، في شارع طرابلس، هذه هذا خالد. واحد انقلب في المغربي، واحد اسمر. عيل عنده 5 خوت وربوه كان عقيد في الجيش عن جذران، كان صورت معاه وصورنا له مقاطع فيديو. عيل مجرم يا مجرم.
We are right now in the arrival hall of the Egyptian border.
So here you go.
It's happening. It's still happening here. We got the downward screening at the customs.
بص يا مرعد، في ناس جايين يوم الاثنين، فانا خليني ارتب، هكلم المكتب ده لما نحدد.
So now we are in Egypt.
ان انا من 10 ايام قعدت مع عبد المصطفى، انا وجوي قعدنا مع عبد المصطفى، فقلنا له طب بص احنا عاوزين نسافر يوم 13. اوكي عشان ما مشكله.
The whole video was shot with a point and shoot camera which was dangling around my neck all the time. Thanks.
You take some questions, Altaf?
Altaf ji, can you please explain the context of cheating death? What exactly happened and how many hours you spent like that?
I'm sorry, I should have made this, I should have actually spoken about what you are going to watch. Since I haven't done that, I was with this group of rebels who gave me a ride to the front line, and in the video which you saw, me running, into the gas station, was when we got hit by, counter fire, and all these rebels, they kind of deserted me. Actually, deserted, is not the right word here. I was with them. I was traveling back as soon as we got hit, and I was staying at the back of this SUV or the truck, which with which they were launching the missiles. So as soon as we were driving off, in the desert, they actually shot a missile, and which made the vehicle unstable, and I was thrown out of the truck onto the sand, onto the ground, and they didn't stop at all. So I had to run for my life actually, and to seek something where I can hide. And while I was running, I was literally seeing bullets hitting the sand around me, and I was like, oh, why isn't any hitting me? I mean, it could have easily killed me. So how I the decision to hide in that small room was kind of wise, because as soon as I entered in that room, the forces were all around searching for if there was any rebel. So had I been in any other room, they would have either got me or they could have done anything they would have wished to. That's, I felt like, kind of cheated the death. Roughly for 30 hours.
You work in, obviously, in very, very intense area of war photography, which is, everything changes any given second. It's beyond anybody's control. How do you see, you work for a lot of wire services, a lot of your work, I've seen it in, national, a lot of papers in other parts of the world. In India, I'm talking about in context of how the media works with war photography and conflict. And we have enough of our own, but you don't see in print, we hardly see anything. If somebody does print it, it sounds like a Hindi newspaper or some liberal leftist kind of a thing. But do you, even on, let's say, social media, not social media, but online media, I would rather say, you hardly see anything. And is that very frustrating for you because there's so much of work you probably have done here, and unfortunately, we hardly get to see anything,
I think to send somebody, out in a conflict by any media, outlet is very, it's a very responsible thing to do. You have to take care of their health. You have to take care of their, insurance. You have to take care of their gear. You have to take care of their family if something happens. So I don't, if I have got your question right, I don't think the Indian publications, want to risk their reputation, in sending, somebody, out, to cover conflict or war. Is that your question?
Yeah, no, I understand what you're talking about. Going beyond that, that when you do, let's say, you worked in Northeast, or let's say you worked in Kashmir, for example, there is hardly anything filters through in mainstream media or even online media. This is, we are not talking about going and doing, we are like, United States of India, we've got enough stuff going on inside, and we at least bother what's happening in other parts of the world. And most of these Middle Eastern conflicts, we are too far away for many different reasons. But I'm just looking at that, there's so much of work you've done, let's say in Kashmir itself. I see something on social media, what you put up, but or maybe I see it through wire services in foreign papers, but there is hardly anything you see which gets published here.
It is really frustrating, absolutely. Unfortunately, Indian publications, care about, something which they get, actually their, sponsors, the people who are actually, who own the company, the publication companies. So they have their own policies, what to show, what not to show, and there's a lot of, I guess, politics which goes behind it. The editorial policy of a newspaper, of a magazine, may not be, in sync with what is out there, so that's one reason. Other reason might be, these things, keep happening nowadays. It's, every day you see the bomb blasts that are happening, that there are, conflicts, there are wars, there are people being killed. So, in a way, I guess, they don't want to, publish something which is graphic in content every day. So they stick to probably, with kind of, very important news, if there is something, a horrible, incident which has claimed lives of, 100 people, then it might get published in India. Otherwise, how it is, magazines, we seldom have any, photography magazine which gives space to photojournalism, itself. It's like there is not much room left in the Indian publications, which is very, very frustrating.
Hello, Altaf bhai. It was wonderful looking at all your work.
Thanks.
It's not a question actually. I know Altaf since so many years now, and we share the same state we come from. And as you rightly said, we have been covering all these, in fact, JNK is all about conflict zones. We've been covering since our childhood days, as you, when you started, just commented. I would just request you, through this platform, for our young budding photojournalists, who are aspiring photojournalists, could you please give them some insight to what is photojournalism, apart from technical knowledge of the camera, what else is required to stay in the field?
I think what I showed you is exactly what photojournalism is all about. You never know when things can go against you. So you have to be prepared for everything and work for very less. It's a job of passion. If you don't have passion, you can't do it. And even if you do it, you have to be very lucky to get a good break. I was lucky enough to get a good break. I mean, although I was not worth it, I guess. But as Samar just asked a question about publication, it's very frustrating. When somebody is working so hard and in return he doesn't get published. It's frustrating. So many people go to commercial photography. Many do some do fashion, some do commercial, some do this and that, and photojournalism is only it's left to very few people now. If you want to be a photojournalist, you have to work hard. You have to be a good human being. You have to be very sensible when you're shooting somebody. You have to be you have to respect their privacy, and there's a lot of things goes into becoming a photojournalist. So yeah, it's very hard, but it's not impossible. Anybody can do it if you have if you have passion.
Okay, you already had thrown your light on how media is disappointed to bring out its true job in Kashmir and all. As you also hail from that part of the country which is in conflict in recent years, and you've been to Libya, which have been in conflict. We have seen the war and all. So how do you relate between both the lands? And do you think the ignorance of the media towards this part of the country, Kashmir, is giving a chance a situation like Libya to arise in our own country, in that part of Kashmir? How do you relate to both the lands? Since you have been in both the lands, you have had a good eye on both of them.
Violence everywhere is almost same. It does everything, whatever it can do in Libya, it can do same in Kashmir or anywhere where the conflict is. When a bomb explodes, it doesn't ask your it doesn't ask your religion, your ethnicity, your where you come from. It just kills you. That's it. But it's the responsibility of a very responsible media to show what's happening in real sense. It may be Kashmir, it may be Libya, it may be Iraq, it may be Syria, wherever you name it. It's the responsibility of the media to portray the correct picture of any conflict. I mean, if there is no justice, there is no peace. That's it. Period. And why journalists put their lives, on the line, is to show what's happening. And then, if in return nothing happens and there's no change, we're wasting our time here.
I'm a little shaken up anyway, but I'm going to go ahead with the question. It's a little personal, I'm sorry, but could you talk about the emotional aspect of being a photojournalist and how your family deals with it, and more on how it dealt with this in its initial, when you were initially getting into the field? Could you please talk about that?
Yeah, my family has been very brave. Actually, my family hasn't seen this video, but my wife is in the audience, and she was very brave. When AP announced that I was missing, and the news went, all over, and my family has been very brave, and they handled the issue so brilliantly and very bravely. And also my company, the Associated Press, they were awesome. And you know, as far as my family is concerned, they're always very, you know, worried about me whenever I go, you know, in situations like this. But they understand it's a job, and on what they can only do is to pray for my safe return. That's what they do, and it looks like it's working.
Thank you, Altaf.